That's a lot of hot lead flying in the air. 9 mil 45. So, what's going on, everybody? It's Taylor, your friendly neighborhood TL Melanie. Today is D Day, the 80th anniversary of D Day itself. And I've got two amazing treats for you today. So, to celebrate 80 years of D Day, we basically have two pistols that were there at the beaches in Normandy, France. We got a 1911 A1, now empty, and so you just now see me do a little bit of action, dual wielding both of these babies. And it's clear. So yes, 80 years of D-Day. Can you believe it? I'm sure many of you who are subscribed to my channel, and if you want to, feel free to enter the comments if you had someone who was there at D-Day. I'm pretty sure that I'm thinking and I'm hoping my granddad did, because my granddad was in World War II. He enlisted in the Army in November of '43 at the age of 19, and so he could have been there. He could have been at D-Day. So, but no doubt about it, these were the two pistols that were definitely there at D-Day. Both of them went head to head against each other. The GIs that stormed them beaches around this time 80 years ago, this was their sidearm they had holstered on their side, besides being equipped with a standard issue weapon like an M1 Garand or the M1 carbine or the Thompson grease gun or even the BAR or the lightweight 1984 Browning. But that was their sidearm they had holstered on their hip. And what did the Germans have to throw against them? Well, besides trying to shoot a bunch of our troops storming the beaches with fixed MG positions with the MG 42s, one particular pistol that they had holstered onto their hips was the P08, the Luger P08. This was the notorious bad guy pistol in both World Wars, but it was also the bad guy weapon for the Germans on D-Day. And believe it or not, yeah, this this little baby did a little bit of damage on its own. Now, the biggest difference between the 1911 A1 that went up against the P08 was the fact that the 1911 A1 fired a 45 ACP caliber round that tended to hit harder, it packed a more bigger punch with just one or two shots per enemy killed, and then the POA, however, it fired 9 millimeter ammunition. Now the actual designations for the good old 9 millimeter, you're wondering, is actually short for what is called 9x19 parabellum. But people would nowadays just rather go with just 9 mil. But 9 mil Luger is basically the 9 millimeter Luger round is basically named after the pistol that it was designed for. And yes, the 9 mil was originally designed back then in World War One for the POA. Now the POA has been around just a tiny bit longer than the 1911, because the reason, and it's obvious the reason why it was given the designation in the German army as the P08, because it was adopted. It was a pistol that the Germans had adopted in 1908, and they used it quite extensively through World War One in the deep muddy trenches, but also issued them in small numbers to German troops during World War Two. Whether if it was the Fallschirmjägers that were basically part of the Nazi Germans blitzkrieg over Europe, or it was in the standard issue sidearm for some of the German troops to hold their to help hold the line on D-Day itself at the beaches of Normandy. And this little guy definitely did some damage of its own. And so that's your two biggest differences is 45 ACP that tends to hit a little harder versus 9 mil that takes about up to 3-4 shots. But another difference too is this has got a slide action to it, a simple blowback simple to it. It's a blowback mechanism and has a hammer, and as soon as it's the trigger, you pull that trigger, and that first, and if you hadn't racked the slide, once you load the first mag, it would automatically push that hammer down. Whereas with this, they have the P08 has what is called a toggle lock system. So the toggle lock system is when you fired your eighth shot, your eighth final round, when it's fired, the whole toggle lock system just slides back and locks in place like it is. And people had immediately thought, "Oh my God, the gun, it looks like the gun's gonna break every time you fire all 8 shots." But that's not really the case. That's not really the case. What is the case is the fact that that's what makes the P08 so special and so unique is by having that toggle lock system. And there's a lot of stories that have been told by World War II vets that were there that have actually been there at D-Day and managed to make it all the way through to the Battle of Berlin in 45. Was a lot of our veterans came home with a bunch of these because, you know, as we defeated the Germans in World War II in April 45 in Berlin, and the many of them of these were confiscated by our GIs in the European theater, which we all know for short is an acronym for the European Theater of Operation is ETO, whereas Pacific Theater is PTO. But this little guy is what this little guy went up against, and both of these just went head to head with each other, just to duke it out all over Europe. But 45 ACP definitely a bit more effective, but it seems like the 9 mil has a little bit of an advantage of its own because 9mm is not going to kick you as much as a 45 will. So that's one of the first advantages this hit would have over the 45 Colt 1911 A1. But now that I've told you a little bit of history about these two weapons, and so far the history of D-Day itself, when exactly the most awesome beach assault would begin at the morning of June 6th of 44, 80 years ago today, which is about around this time. Yeah, now that I've told you that information, and for if you want more additional information, you can always, you there are still some World War II vets out there that more likely were there that they could tell you the story as well. And if you need more information, but I'm not going to really go into full much detail or anything. So I got a fresh mag loaded in this. We'll do some test shots. We're gonna fire 7 more shots with this. Then we'll fire off 8 with this. And then I'll let you guys decide in the comments section on which one of these would you prefer over one or the other. It can't be both. So, alright, so now I'm just gonna load that mag, slide, hammer all the way back, and then do it. Now this is for a lot of our GIs that died on D-Day. So this one is for those veterans, those boys that weren't able to come home and they were killed on them beaches. So this is for you. That's it. 7 shots. All right. Pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, let's see the kind of firepower that the Nazi German defenders had against our boys with this baby. Let's see what this can do. This one too, dedicating these 8 shots for our boys that were killed on D-Day. So hats off to you boys. Yep, that's it. Yep, that's all 8. Make sure we're clear. All right. So you got a little bit of a bit of action, and you got to now that you got to see what these babies can do. So be sure to be sure to drop a like on this video. If you haven't subscribed, I highly recommend you do so. For more content will eventually come, and drop a and leave a comment in the comment description on which one of these would you prefer. Would you rather use the P08, or would you just go with the good old Colt 45 1911 A1 if you were there at D-Day? So I'll let you guys do all the deciding. So as always, a special happy 80th anniversary to D-Day itself. And so I look forward to seeing you guys again here really soon. So as always, this is TL Melanie here. So keep your powder dry, your blade sharp, and your eyes on those targets. Semper Fi, carry on at ease. And